Wayfarer Insurance, this is a timeline. I think this is going to be way easier for you guys to digest. Today we got the response from Harco, the employment practices carrier. They responded to Wayfarer's motion. And in one of the attachments, we were able to see the arguments that Wayfarer was making because it was an email from their counsel. So we're going to kind of go over all of it, and I'm going to try to simplify it, but I think a timeline is going to be the most helpful. So the first thing that was alleged here in the spring of 2023 is that there was an allegation that there was some form of an HR complaint that Lively had made. Right? But in discovery, we see that like nothing has come out there. Actually, the contrary has come out. Okay. And that is important because the insurance company does have a duty to investigate and to actually prove that something predates a policy. Okay. And everything we've seen thus far in the Lively case, we have not seen one. Okay. Has yet to be seen. So why this spring of 2023 is important is because the first policy that we know of, did not start until sometime in July of 2023. So these are claims made policies. They did not have coverage. And the other thing too is they might have had full prior X. I'd have to go back and look at it. But if they knew about a claim, they did sign a warranty statement. So I write right here, a warranty statement in July when they incepted coverage. So that is very normal. When you get a new policy, you can't like buy insurance when your house is on fire, right? So that's what you're doing. You're saying, I don't know of a claim or a potential claim by signing the warranty statement. So that's July of 2023, first EPL policy, they signed the statement. Then we get November of 2023. We get Lively's 17 million point list, right? Stop doing XYZ. Why this matters. The definition of a claim under the Harco policy is a written demand for monetary or non-monetary relief, injunctive relief, reinstatement, reengagement, or reemployment. Stop doing XYZ, start doing this. That looks like injunctive, non-monetary relief, okay? So then that would trigger the policy and would trigger them to notify in a timely manner and as soon as practicable is the actual language, okay? We will get to that further. So now, July 2024, the EPL policy renews because it's on a 1-year policy. You refill out a new application. Likely in that application, I think it says, do you know of any claims? This is not as stringent as a warranty statement, but I think they check the box no, right? So kind of important. Summer of 2024. This is when the allegations, Lively is alleging that there's a smear campaign, an ongoing smear campaign, right? That is part of the retaliation claim because smear campaign is not a cause of action. So that's part of the retaliation claim. We're going to get to why this is important in a second. It's because this is August of 2024. There's no smear campaign back here in the 17-point list from, November of 2023. Okay? And this is really important in one of Wayfarer's arguments because claims are made at the earliest date, right, with written demand. And if claims are interrelated or related, then you take the earliest date. And so what the Wayfarer parties are trying to say here is that these are not related claims. And the argument that they try to make is that there's no meaningful linkage. And what is the meaningful linkage? Well, there's no consistent conduct. The conduct is not the same, is what they're saying. And there's no way for them to have had this retaliation claim or even know about it in November of 2023 because that's not the allegations against Wayfarer. Because how can you retaliate against something that is, just really occurred, right? And that's not even part of the allegation. So they're like, what? So one of Wayfarer's arguments is like, this is not related to the November 2023 letter. And they might have a good argument there. At least for the retaliation, the defamation, the false light. Because those all look like they happened in later of 2024. They also go on to make the argument, it's like these are duty to defend policies. And the burden is really on the insurance company to prove facts that say, hey, this is exactly why you don't have coverage. And if you have coverage for some part of it, then the policy needs to be responding. It needs to be defending you, okay? If there's the possibility of a claim. And so they're making all of these arguments. So back to my stuff here, okay? December of 2024, we see the CRD, we start to see the lawsuits. Then in my horrible writing here, April is when Harco, the insurance company, was notified. The other insurance carriers were notified too. And so they're saying, well, that's like, 4 or 5 months between them. This has prejudiced them. But that burden is still on the insurance company to show exactly how they've been substantially prejudiced by the delay in notice. So, yeah. I think the big argument here is about the related claims. I think that is the important argument thus far, is about differentiating November of 2023 from the retaliation stuff smear campaign of late 2024. There are a lot of burdens of proof that are placed on the insurance company to show cognizable evidence of, legitimate reasons for denial. So Wayfair is putting the pressure on the insurance company to be like, okay, because, first of all, the 2023 HR thing seems to be non-existent, so I don't even know where that argument came from, but I know it was part of it. You can't just say, well, Blake Lively claimed it. Where's the piece of paper? A couple other things I'll add. The employment practices policy covers discrimination, harassment, retaliation, defamation, all stemming from workplace stuff, workplace torts, workplace events, employment, stuff like that. So these are all kind of in that purview, and I think Harco's pretty much said that. They might try to rely on a couple of other exclusions, but just so you know, these general causes of action are what is generally covered under an employment practices lawsuit, so we are in the right insurance policy. And I know I've said that before. A big thing here, too, that is part of this whole, duty to defend. It's wrongfully denying coverage can mean that the insurance carrier can actually have to pay, in some instances, more than the policy limit, and can have to pay the already incurred defense costs, which are they are astronomical, but the other side to this is approved counsel. Harco, in general, and I know this from working with them, is very strict on approved counsel. They have a panel, they're not going to deviate. There's no chance that Brian Friedman is on that. I know because I've seen it. I feel like most people end up at O'Hagan when they have a Harco policy. I've seen a few other firms, but I don't see Friedman's firm on there. But they are strict. They're not going to deviate. They're not going to pay Friedman's fees. So if there is a wrongful denial, though, that's when the insurance company could potentially be on the hook for more than the policy limit and could end up actually having to pay the expensive lawyers that the Wayfair parties have on here. Obviously, a lot of things have to go the Wayfair party's way, but there's a lot at play here. Remember, Blake Lively was able to get some of the insurance information. I believe she had subpoenaed it. It was an issue, and the judge granted it. I don't think I've seen the denial letter. I would love to see that. If that's out, somebody let me know. If somebody wants to send it to me. I hope this cleared this up. I obviously can't get to everything in a 10-minute video, but I'm trying.